question, as raised by the Trump folks, is whether undocumented immigrants are, quote, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, since they were not here under any legal process. How would you address that in court?
So I'm grateful for the partnership with 17 other Democratic AGs where we filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration yesterday for what is a blatant violation of the Constitution. One, he doesn't have the power of either executive order to eviscerate the Constitution, to eradicate the 14th Amendment. It has been crystal clear for over a century that the 14th Amendment extends birthright citizenship not only to folks who are born here, but folks who are born here regardless of status, regardless of demographic. If they are born on your soil, they are citizens. And of course, we know this comes out of a collective fight post-slavery for black folks to be able to be afforded not only citizenship, but the rights that are attached to that. So it's a blatant violation of the Constitution. He doesn't have the unilateral power to do it. And most importantly, he's doing it on the backs of babies, seeking to solve the immigration issues of this country. So we're all standing up and fighting back to protect our Constitution and the rule of law.
Right, but on that issue, to protect those babies that you speak of, what the Trump administration is going to say is that the 14th Amendment is about people born into the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. But because those babies' parents were undocumented, they were not subject to the jurisdiction thereof. So what would your answer in court be? Because if this does end up before the U.S. Supreme Court, which I anticipate it will, that's a conservative court, you're going to have to explain that.
I don't know that it will end up in the Supreme Court. Right now, we're asking a district court in Massachusetts to end this executive order so that it doesn't actually take effect. And their interpretation of the 14th Amendment is just that, their interpretation, which is absolutely flawed. The Supreme Court has made it crystal clear for over a century, including executive branches before this president, that even with that provision in the 14th Amendment, it is crystal clear that if you were born in this country, you are indeed a citizen here, regardless of parents' immigration status. This was resolved years and decades ago by the Supreme Court, and now they are attempting to rewrite the Constitution, to rewrite decisions in the Supreme Court. And frankly, if this ended up before the Supreme Court, I'm confident that every justice would not only agree with us because they care deeply about the rule of law in our Constitution, but because they made it crystal clear over and over again for over a century just what the 14th Amendment means.
A new Justice Department memo spells out plans to go after state and local officials if they refuse to enforce the president's immigration policies. 8 cities in Massachusetts are considered sanctuary cities. What are you advising the leaders of those cities when it comes to the president's immigration and deportation plans?
We're closely working with all our municipalities here in Massachusetts, including our governor and local elected officials, and making it crystal clear that not only will I, as their attorney general, fight to protect them, I will use the law to do it. It has been disheartening to see a slew of executive orders that weaponize the Department of Justice. I would rather the president take these resources, which are limited, and direct them to helping us solve public safety issues, which we do every single day. We are holding folks accountable who perpetuate crimes in the Commonwealth, regardless of whether they're citizens or undocumented. We've done that with the former U.S. attorney here in Massachusetts. This is what we are pushing them to do versus trying to create some type of more fear or, frankly, to suggest that we are in somehow violation of the law, which we are not.
Massachusetts Attorney General Andrea Campbell, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We are following some major breaking news. A new wild